BarbacoaCore, a podcast network.
Cool. What is up, everybody? Thank you for checking out a new episode of the BarbacoaCore Podcast. This is a second Zoom chat podcast that we're doing since we're all in quarantine and shit, supposed to be staying home. Today, I got a old buddy of mine, fellow open micer, Chris Grullon. What's going on, dude?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Can't complain.
Yeah, everybody else is. So.
Everybody else is.
Now, how you been doing, man? How are you going crazy yet?
I'm going stir crazy for sure.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is that in order for me to be creative, I have to go out.
Yeah. You don't use old stories or stories from your family and stuff?
Oh, for sure, but I like creating new ones.
Yeah, man. I'll be honest, dude. Like, since the whole thing went down, I haven't wrote anything new. I've worked on a couple of bits, just wrote down a couple of things, but for the most part, my mind has not been on comedy, really, dude.
Yeah, it's been hard. It's been hard to stay motivated, because I've lost 3 family members on my dad's side, and 3 members on my mom's side have it
from COVID.
Yeah.
Wow. In San Antonio or from New York? Or?
New York. Yeah. So the area that was hit the hardest in New York is my neighborhood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I had a family member that she's a nurse, and she just volunteered to go out and help out up there, man. I was like, that's insane.
It's insane, but they're paying crazy money over there.
Oh, mad money. It's crazy. So she'll be up there for like 8 weeks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
room and board paid for.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't know if I would do that, man. I mean, I'm not anything like medical, like they don't need me out there. So, but that's such a risk, you know?
Yeah. My little brother, he's on the front line there in the ER in Long Island, and his wife is a respiratory tech. And so she ended up getting COVID, beat it, and now came back. My uncle had a stroke, contracted COVID while recovering in the hospital, and now he is on a ventilator.
That's insane, dude. Like,
yeah,
you hear all these stories. Like, you're the first person that I've talked to that had somebody connected, like, so close to them, you know?
Yeah, so on my dad's side, within a week, we lost 3 people.
That's insane, man. Sorry to hear that. That's crazy.
It is what it is.
Yeah, man. And now, like, fucking Abbott wanted to open up phase 1, start opening up restaurants and stuff.
So my glasses keep reflecting. So I'm considered high risk because I have 3 different lung diseases from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So I have to stay in. I can't. If I go down with a respiratory illness, it could kill me.
That's insane, man. So that's on top of the whole thing, like just going out to the store or any little thing like that. Like, you have to take it more serious.
Yeah, which is why, like, when the open mics and the crowds, I get really nervous about, even before all this, because I could get the flu could kill me.
Man, what's the sickest you ever got? Like, when did you start taking it more serious?
Like, when in 2010, I deployed to Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. And when I got back in Afghanistan, we had to burn top secret papers, and they had to be burnt to ashes, and you had to stay there and watch the paper burn. And so in Afghanistan, they wouldn't let you wear a mask, and because they said it was out of uniform. So I'm inhaling all the ashes and all that. Behind me, they were burning batteries and fecal matter and all types of craziness, right? And so when I got back from Afghanistan, I couldn't run around the track. And that's when I noticed, hey, man, something's not right. And so they did x-rays, and like my lungs stop right before my ribs end. And so they said that they're shrinking, they're diminishing. And so I had to take a step back. I got retired from the Air Force, and then I ended up getting, from that point on, twice a year, summer and winter, I get really sick, like 2 weeks out. I don't get out of bed.
That's insane. Do I have to edit any of that from the?
No, man.
Okay, because you're like, we burned shit. We didn't have.
No. Yeah. No, we definitely did. But it's a fact. It's they have burn pit registries and all that for it.
So are they paying you money for that? Did you ever sue them for
I
that?
got disabled. I'm a disabled veteran, and I get money for that. But so right now I'm currently at 90% disabled, but my lung condition is so rare, I have to have a CPAP at work. So if I have an issue, I have to put on the mask at work and let it do its thing. And
is there anything that you could do to like improve that? Are you doing like lung exercises?
I'm one of 3 people in San Antonio with this lung condition.
Dude,
it's called excessive dynamic airway collapse. So if I exert myself, one of the issues that I have on stage is that I don't talk very loud.
Yeah.
And there's a reason.
I thought that was a nerves thing.
No.
I thought that was all nerves and stuff.
The reason is if I talk too loud, my airway collapses on itself.
Jeez.
If I exert my lung too hard. So I have to be straight and to the point, try to be funny without trying to kill myself.
Yeah, man. I mean, you see comics that have that little laid back kind of delivery, like Todd Glass, I think. He's very laid back, very chill. I think it's Todd Glass, yeah. So yeah, man, I never knew that. I knew that. I knew that you were retired from the military and you had like health conditions and stuff, but I never knew it was that serious. I didn't know.
Yeah, so I'm a wounded warrior and a disabled vet, and none of that shit matters when you get out. Nobody gives a fuck. But when I bring it out on stage, I also have PTSD from Afghanistan. I've been able to get off of antidepressants, and I was taking antidepressants and sleep aids, and because of the stage, it's been able to calm me. Like I've been able to get that outlet.
Okay.
And I've been off of all those meds because of it.
That's crazy, man. How long have you been off the meds?
Like a year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was just slowing you down, like you just didn't like the meds. Like how?
What was happening was I would get on the meds, and it started to become a crutch, and I felt like I needed it.
Yeah.
And then I would get on stage, and I would fumble my bit. Mm-hmm. I would forget. And it was because the medicine was making my mind foggy. Oh, okay. And so there was a night that I did with Big Al, and I mean it was at the I don't know if the Alamo Biscuit Company.
I saw flyers for that, but I've never been to that place.
So we did it that night, and it was 2 shows that night, back to back.
Yeah.
And the first show, I get up there, and I'm the second or third comic. Jeremy was there. Alex Reyes was there. Mm-hmm. I get up there and I go blank. Like towards the end of my set, I forget everything.
Yeah.
And Big Al's looking at me like, wrap it up. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. I apologize. And I walked off the stage. Wow. It was the biggest, one of my biggest embarrassments on stage. But then 4 weeks later, I win my round in the funniest comedian in Texas.
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring that up.
No, I mean, it was a big triumph for me because the 2 shows before that, I was fumbling.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even know if I was going to be ready.
And so that was while you were on the meds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I was getting off the meds. So it's been about a year, about 8 months that I've been off the meds because we're in April now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep. But it was making me fumble, and it was getting me really upset. And then it would bring on, and you know this, like when you fail on stage, it's like a ton of bricks hit you.
Yeah.
It eats at you, man.
Yeah, it'll stick with you to your next one, to your next I
was replaying it in my head. I had it recorded. I was replaying the recording. It was terrible.
So how you doing without the meds and stuff? Like, are you
Great?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been writing. We talked about this earlier, but I've been writing and rewatching comedy and sitting back and watching some old like Jerry Lewis movies and just trying to practice on the bits that I got.
Have you done any of the online comedy shows?
Do you know, honestly, I was talking to my wife about this. I feel like I don't know. We're at a point now, like if you don't get on, are you relevant? You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely. Yeah. So I'm like, do I keep putting content out on Facebook or Instagram just to keep my name out there?
Yeah, for sure. I fell through that hole like for a while when all this went down and the whole world just stopped. I was really down, really depressed and all that stuff. And then, well, comedy to me, I've said this before, it's kind of like a drug, you know? Mm-hmm. And so you just keep wanting more. You keep wanting to go on stage and stuff to kind of like to relieve yourself or try to get that high again. All right. So when everything shut down, no shows, everything got canceled. Yeah, I was kind of down and depressed about it for a while. And then I kind of I kind of went through that not withdrawals, but like when you don't do a drug for a while, like the cleansing, like a detox, you know, like that thing wasn't there anymore. That need to go out, that need to go on stage, because there was nowhere to go. There was nowhere to do it, you know. So
and now we're running into what's going to happen after. Like I had seen the GoFundMe for jokesters. Like, is that going to be around when this is over with?
No, you know what I mean? Dude, no tell. And then even when, I mean, slowly, little by little, they're going to open up restaurants and then they're going to open up bars. Like everything's going to happen in phases and stuff.
Right.
Any type of groups like that, like any type of small comedy clubs, concerts, like
they're going to be last.
Anything, yeah, that's going to be last. Even if they get the permission to do it, people aren't going to want to be in small places like that. Like it's just going to be a long time until people are comfortable actually going out to places. And
with me being high risk, I'm not taking any chances, man. I can't be in close spaces like that. So
yeah, for sure, man. That would bring on like if I go to the grocery store, I'm holding my breath. Like I'll be holding my breath even with the mask and stuff, just because I'm worried about myself. But like you already know that your immune system can't be compromised at all. Can't risk it.
And which is why I think you know this. I don't smoke and I don't drink because I don't want that added effect on my body to affect me in case I get sick.
Yeah. Were you ever a drinker or smoker?
Mm-mm. My dad died when I was 13 from cirrhosis of the liver.
Oh, yeah.
And so at that point, I decided I wasn't going to be an alcoholic because I had read at that age that it's genetic, so it could be passed on to my kids. Oh, so I never wanted them to see me drinking.
Yeah, man.
I do drink. You know, I have an occasional glass of wine or something like that, but I don't do it in groups at the bars. I don't do any of that.
Yeah. So when all this went down, the pandemic, the quarantine and all that stuff, what bad habits have increased for you? Man,
for real, it's just late night snacking, man. I have a hard time putting down the ice cream or the cookies, and I've gained about 10 pounds, man. It sucks.
Dude, I've gained at least 30 just in the 2 months and shit. And that's because I wasn't doing that good before.
Right.
My drinking has really picked up. I quit smoking. I haven't had a cigarette in almost a month. Decided if anything's going to kill me, it's going to be my diabetes, not
yeah, because you're diabetic, right?
Pre-diabetic, but we're all pre-diabetic.
Everybody's pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my drinking has gone off like pretty bad. I'm trying to. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to cut back. But
I read this morning that they're going to extend. They're possibly going to leave picking up alcohol, like drive-through.
Yeah, man. Like everybody's doing like pick up alcohol, like those little bottles. Whoever like owns that or owns stock in like little liquor, killing it right now because everybody's doing it.
They're going to extend bars.
Yeah, man. The to-go alcohols. Because that's what people are doing a lot now. A lot of people are drinking a lot more, eating a lot more. Like,
right.
just ridiculous. Like my wife, she's a server downtown, and she went in today for a meeting. And when she got back, I told her, you know what, like it's not worth it. Like I don't want her to go back yet. I told her to call and say that she's not going to go back for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And because she got furloughed, which means that they'll leave her job open for her. I was like, it don't matter if you lose your job. I don't want her to be in the first phase one of anything, like
the guinea pig.
Yeah, like it's just not worth it, because the whole thing is like the scientists aren't saying that it's safe to go out. It's Abbott that's saying let's get this economy going. Let's get all these people off of unemployment and shit. And
it doesn't help. I mean, the lieutenant governor was on Fox News saying that he'd rather have like the economy open over the people.
Yeah, like it hasn't been peaked yet in Texas.
Nope.
You know, like it's just now curbing like on the coast, the East Coast and West Coast. It's just now doing it, but it hasn't been peaked yet here. Like the
scary thing was Louisiana was getting hit really hard, and they had it banned. Or if you were coming in from Louisiana into Texas, you had to quarantine yourself for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that stopped as of Friday. If you come in from Louisiana, you don't no longer have to quarantine yourself. And that's scary because they're still peaking.
Yeah, and the whole thing is like people could be asymptomatic. I mean, like you don't know. Like I'm not afraid of getting sick, but like my mom takes a lot of meds that kind of hinder her immune system and stuff.
Right.
I don't want her to get sick. And that's the whole thing too. I was like, we haven't even seen our family yet. Like the last thing we on Easter, we all did drive through, and then we parked our cars like cops, you know, and we ate in our cars, and that's the only like contact that we had since this whole thing went off, you know.
And for me, most of my family, all of my family's in New York City, New York and Phoenix, and so I don't see any of them. But my wife's side is all down here in South Texas, and we haven't seen them in like 2 months.
Yeah. So, I mean, was comedy picking up for you, like after like the contest and all that stuff?
So, I mean, I thought, one of the people that helped me with advice was Larry Garza.
Yeah.
When I won, I messaged him, and I love talking to Larry because he always gives me the advice that I need to hear, not the advice that I want to hear.
Yeah.
And so, because it the ego picks up, and I'm like, I'm a winning comedian out here, and I ain't shit, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you won, or you went on for a reason. I mean, you had a good set that night. I mean,
it was a good set, but it could have been that everybody else's set was terrible that night.
Well, what do you think? Who were you up against that night? I mean, you don't have to name drop, but I mean,
no, I was up against Debo. Myself, a few people from San Marcos, Gabe Cortez, and I've seen him do the set that he did that night and kill.
Yeah,
and it was off that night, and that shit happens. And then there were some people that I don't remember. They just came for the contest. But then the semifinals, I went up against Tanvir, Regis, Debo, Shannon. You know Shannon?
Yeah, he was in my round.
So he got there late.
Oh, I saw that. Like he had like a flat tire or something.
Yeah, man, and they didn't let him go on.
That was bad, dude.
That was messed up, man.
That was really bad.
I felt bad for him. And then the guy that runs Laredo,
Aaron Suarez.
I can't think of his name.
Shannon.
We talk all the time.
Shannon and Aaron, they won my round, the one that I was in.
Right. So Aaron,
they were really good, man. They were funny. They were fucking hilarious and shit.
They're hilarious, man. Aaron that night, I went up against him. I can't remember the other people, but Regis fucking killed that night.
Yeah.
Killed. Yeah. He had people jumping out of their seats, man.
That's crazy, man.
Yep. With the set he did, man, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But I went up third. I went right after Tanvir in the semifinals, and then 11 other comics went after me. And so I had a good set, but Regis fucking killed that night, man. There's no doubt about it. Him and Devo killed.
Yeah, I went up first on mine, and it was kind of rough. And like before my round, the night before I had did that Hog Comedy Fest edition, right?
Right. I remember I was there that night.
So I had to do a clean set.
Was that the night I was there?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. And then I was like, "Fuck it!" I had a really good night that night. That audition. I mean, I didn't
you definitely killed that night.
I didn't go on the fest, so it doesn't matter. But
I found that to be weird because the people that I saw on the fest, they broke the rules that were given that night.
I mean, it's neither here nor there. You know, I know I had a strong set that night for that audition, right. And then so I was like, "Fuck it, I'll do the exact same set the following night," because that's what I've been working on that for a while. And I was the first one up, and I was like, it was my first time on the LOL stage for a show. Like I did Kill Tony before, but that's not really a show.
Right.
Not really a show for me, you know. And I was just like, couldn't figure out the stage. The stage was way too big. And
the stage was big.
The crowd, it was a spread out crowd, you know, Wednesday night. And so I was like, and I felt I did okay. I didn't have the same fire as I had the night before.
Right.
But then I was up like Kabaza and George Anthony, and then
you had a strong fucking
Aaron
set.
Slaughter, Shannon.
You had a strong group that night, man. I think Tambier was in your. No, Tambier wasn't in your group.
No, he wasn't mine. Angelo Velasco.
Fram.
No. I think she was. Oh no, she was on the one that
with Tambier, right? AJ too.
Yeah. And then I didn't pass, but I mean, it was fine. Like I know that I didn't do as good on that one from the night before and stuff.
Right.
But it was fun. It was the first time doing that contest. It was interesting, man.
So I mean, for me, it was a big boost because I was getting on stages and I wasn't ready for the stage, man. And that was my biggest issue. Like the first stage that I did, the first show I did was with Irma, and I think I brought 45 people that night, and we sold out. It was 100 people in Smoke downtown, and we filled the whole room. And then I get up there, and that was the first night I go up, my first show, and I completely fucking blanked the set. I had to pull my phone out, and that's when I was telling you about the meds that it was starting to affect the way I was performing. And so then I did the show with Big Al. I did it again, and I'm like, man, these fucking meds are killing me. So I ended up stopping the meds, and I started picking up more gigs doing like trivia nights. And I've been able to work my sets in between the questions. And that's how I was getting my timing right for the jokes. So when it came time to do the funniest comedian in Texas, I was ready to go. I had the 6 minutes down I had like 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I had it straight. I already knew where I was at. I didn't need the light or anything like that. Yeah. And then after that, I did a show with Mike Robles. I did his benefit show. And then that was good because then I picked up a network with Jerry Garcia in LA. And I've been talking to him, and I was going to open up for him actually this week. He was supposed to come to LOL.
Oh, wow.
And I was going to open up for him and do 7 minutes on stage. And then this week I was supposed to go to Laredo to do Aaron's show. But all this went up in the air, and it is what it is. But it was starting to pick up, man. I was really, really excited to see where it was going to go.
Yeah, man. Like it was funny. Like before everything popped off, I had to say no to a couple of shows. I was supposed to go to Dallas for one of Irma's shows, and then I was going to go back to McAllen, go back to Sino Ray,
right?
Also for an Irma show, but I couldn't get the time off work, and I was like, man, like shit's really picking up. Maybe I'll just like put in my 2 weeks, find another job, and then so I don't have to say no to any more shows, you know, because I like stuff was just starting to pick up. I was even going to go on the road back with Danny Engel. Supposed to go to Amarillo and one other place, you know, just do a guest spot. So I was like, I just don't want to be able to, I don't want to say no to any more shows. You know, I was in the mindset like, oh, comedy's going to take off. I'm going to make all this money, quit this job. I knew I was going to have to get a job, but I just wanted to get a job that was a little bit more flexible. And I was about to put in my 2 weeks, and then this whole thing started, and they're like, oh, we're going to start sending people to work from home. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, had I quit that job, I would have been fucked, dude.
Yep.
I would have been so fucked right now.
That's God telling you to slow down.
Yeah.
Because I thought the same thing, man. I was like, man, I'm turning down these gigs. I'm not going out on open mics as much because I have to be at work so early in the morning, and it's affecting my networking because people know me, but they don't know me. You know what I mean? And the reason that I was doing Duck Show at the pizzeria so often was because it's a nice venue, and I was able to bring my family.
Mm-hmm.
And so it didn't break me off from separating comedy and family and keeping them separate.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues that I have is trying to explain to my wife that the Blind Tiger is open till 2 a.m., but I'm only there for the jokes. I'm only there to watch people do comedy.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, right. There's a bar there. There's women there. No.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It does take a toll on the marriage for sure. Yep. Like even before this, like me and the wife, we weren't doing too well, you know, and to the point where we were all actually thinking about splitting it up. Like we were looking at different apartments to see what we could afford for each other, you know, all that stuff. And then the quarantine set in, and we're stuck at home.
Hey, if it didn't rebuild the relationship by now, I don't know what to tell you.
No, it's actually going really good. Yeah. It's going really good because the whole thing was we were having trouble finding our schedules, you know, because I was really busy with comedy, and then she was busy with work and her friends and going out and doing all that stuff. So we weren't really mixing when it came to scheduling. You know, I wasn't giving her enough time. She wasn't giving me enough time, all that stuff. And I mean, the love was still there. We were just like, oh, well, it doesn't seem like we were working at it at all. So let's just not draw it out anymore. And
what sucks is like if you I don't know how you feel, but like when I am not doing comedy, I feel like it's gonna leave me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure. You got to keep going. You have to keep going at it. You know, like it's not just. I mean, I know it's harder for you because like with your wife and your kids and all that stuff. So I understand. And then like with work, you have to go to work early. Right. So I understand that. But and for some people, it's fine to do once a week, twice a week. That's just what people want. For me, like the whole sense of urgency was there because as an older guy. Like old in life, but young in comedy, like I have to get those reps in. I have to get better. I have to improve. 37.
Yeah, so I'm 37 too. I'll be 38 this year.
Yeah, and like most of the guys our age has been in it like for like 10 years.
Yep.
You know, so they don't really do the open mics like circuit like we would have to. I mean, we're new at it. We have to do it.
And the thing that sucks is like, how do I, as a new guy, go to somebody that's been in forever and say, hey, man, what can I do? Because, when I first started, I was like, hey, man, what can I work on? I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing up there.
Yeah.
And one of the people that helped me was Big Al.
Yeah.
Big Al is, if you ever go to him and ask him for advice, that man will give it to you. He's cool as a fan to me. He doesn't give me any, he doesn't hold back, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, even now with the virtual comedy, he was the one. I've been talking to him about it because he's been doing it. He actually did a virtual reality one where he had to put on a headset.
How? Oh, so you could see people like
yeah, like he said that when he walked in, it was like an actual stage and there was people in the crowd. That's
insane, dude.
Yeah,
like is that going to be the next thing?
That's what I was saying. People were asking, "What do you think is going to happen?" I think it's going to be a new lane of virtual comedy that's going to happen where people don't have to leave their house.
That sucks. I mean, I don't like that at all. I like the live, you know.
I don't like it. Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, I wouldn't mind checking it out. I don't have like a VR machine or VR glasses or nothing like that.
Have you been catching the virtual comedies?
Nah, man. Like Luchador, La Lucha Mike does it on Thursdays. They do it open mic. But It's not VR. It's just on like a stream like this or the yard stream. But it's just watching somebody do this. It's like doing a podcast, you know. And I just haven't had the urge to do that and stuff. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to do my set. Like it just doesn't.
That's
work.
what I'm saying. Like, because I have jokes that I want to say and I want to see if they work, but that's not the atmosphere to find out if they work. Because when you get on stage for real, it could suck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not down dissing it for anybody. You know, if anybody wants to do that, I mean, they're having fun with it. It's all about having fun anyway. You know,
I've seen some that are pretty terrible, man. Like it's I saw one that they were wearing a bathrobe, and they weren't even telling real jokes. They were just talking.
Yeah,
and it was like 8 minutes of it.
Yeah, I saw this one girl that I saw her live. She's from Alabama, but she dropped in at Luchador to do a set, and then she did the virtual one, and she was just doing her bits, you know, and it wasn't bad, but like she's not hearing any feedback, she's not hearing any laughs.
Exactly, so that's the problem. Yeah.
What else? And then she would go into another bit. I mean,
right.
She was holding it down. She was doing her thing. She didn't get like flustered by it or nothing. But I just haven't had the nerve or the urge to go set it up. And
I mean, one of the funniest open mics I had seen was the one where it was you that was on stage and the crowd wasn't reacting, and you're like, "Is this fucking thing on?"
Yeah,
and that to me was so fucking funny, man. Because you were like, at that point, you just didn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's what I was for a while. I was getting really mean to the audience.
Yeah. You had some drinks and you were like late in the group. And when you got up there, man, and then that one time that my friend from Germany showed up, and you told him to go fuck himself from the stage.
No, well, I mean, he wasn't heckling, but
he just wouldn't shut up.
He was having a very loud conversation.
Yeah,
while we're trying.
That shit
to
was funny as hell.
Yeah, and I didn't know he was your friend. Had I known he was your friend, I wouldn't have said anything.
No, I loved it. I laughed my ass off. And the next day, I made fun of him.
Yeah, like a lot of people get the wrong idea that I'm a mean guy. I'm not a mean guy. I just come off like that. You know, it's all fun and games if you know me. You know, but I don't know, man. Like this whole thing, like I don't even know when open mics are going to open up, start up again.
Yeah.
And to be honest, man, I'm in no rush. Right. And that kind of scares me because that was my identity for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was working hard at it. I was spending a lot of time at it.
Yep.
I was getting busy. I was going places, getting booked more, trying to network more. And now that all just stopped, and I don't know, like, if I'm looking forward to getting back into it, you know?
And see, like,
I'm worried.
I was the same way. I was doing, when I wasn't doing the open mic, I was at home writing like crazy. I was at work writing, thinking of bits.
Yeah.
And that stopped ever since this shit started and family members started dying. I'm like, yo, I don't find nothing funny anymore, man. Yeah,
man, it's pretty tough. So, how are you doing? Like, are you still talking to people? Like, as far as for your meds, for being off your meds?
Right. So, the VA still has like virtual telehealth and all that.
Oh, okay.
So, one of the problems that I was having was I couldn't get out what I was experiencing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so with comedy, it's helped me like express with my words what the fuck I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And so I've always wanted to be a comedian from young. Mm-hmm. But then 9/11 happened, and I was in college. I was in Manhattan when the towers went down, and I joined the Air Force. And then I did 14 years in the Air Force. My wife knows me as a serious guy. As a matter of fact, these just happen to be here. My uncle is the one that's having the stroke, that's with COVID, when I was telling you about. He was in the Air Force. He's the one that I followed my life after.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was talking to my mom because they're talking about funeral arrangements, and these are my ribbons. She was asking what the ribbons look like. They just happened to be here because we were showing to them last night.
Oh, yeah.
But after 14 years in the Air Force and being this guy that's all decorated, now I'm on stage telling fucking jokes. And she's like, who the fuck are you? Yeah. I don't even know you anymore. And so what happened was I didn't want to die not trying it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And see if I could do it.
Yeah.
And so now that I know that A, that I can do it, and B, that I love doing it, whether I suck at it or not, whether I have a off night or not. I just love being on stage and telling jokes.
Yeah.
And so it's helped with that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But now that all this is happening, I find myself like getting more anxiety going out. Because for you, it's like more intense. Right. It's life and death for sure, right. You know? And so like with the lung issue, it sparks the anxiety and then the PTSD and then the sleep. I don't know about you, but I'm having issues sleeping.
No, I drink a lot. I've been drinking every day, you know.
So you're sleeping good.
I mean, I wake up in the morning. I was like, hey, I guess I did sleep well. You know.
No, I got to sign in at 7 at work, and then but most of the night I'm up walking around, making sure that the house is okay.
Yeah, my wife has been having a lot of trouble sleeping. Like she's furloughed right now. She's not working. And she's kind of just not tired, you know?
Yeah, and my son is off of school. And so now we're tele schooling, and that shit sucks, man.
Yeah.
Because he's up till midnight because he doesn't have to start school till 1:30.
Yeah. So, but you've been still writing and stuff, like working on it?
I've been still writing. So like one of the stories that I had was I'm having issues with these birds in my patio. They don't leave. And I'm nervous because the birds carry the diseases. And so my wife was like, we need to get rid of these birds because I don't want to get the baby sick.
Yeah.
And she looked up online and she said, what can I do to get rid of these birds? And they said, hang CDs, and the light hitting the sun on the CD affects them from flying and all this other stuff. And so we hung DVDs because that's all we had, and they came back. And so she said, I read aftershave. They don't like the smell of aftershave. Mm-hmm. And so I sprayed Old Spice on this ledge, and again, they came back. And she said, they don't like music. And so I brought out my speaker, and I also have like a strobe light on the speaker. And so when music plays, the lights hit. And so the next morning, she's like, they didn't leave. They stayed. And I'm like, at this point, I've set up a fucking date night for these fucking birds because now they're just sitting there watching the DVD spin, swaying to the music. They had eggs. I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck to do at this point.
Yeah.
But that's
made it comfortable for them. You made it a fun place to be.
Right. So now I should be, if I'm not named after, if those eggs aren't named after me, I don't know what the fuck to do. But yeah, that's one of the jokes I had written down. Yeah. And then just thinking about my crazy ass family. So my uncle, he had a stroke and then caught the coronavirus, and it didn't stop my family from being crazy. So like my mom ran to the nursing home that he was at. Mind you, in New York City, the COVID is rampant in the nursing homes.
Yeah.
It's killed over 600 people just in the nursing homes.
Yeah.
And so she comes running into the nursing home, and they said, ma'am, you can't be in here. And she said, no virus is going to stop me from my brother. Runs, touches my uncle. Bare hand. Now you got to quarantine yourself for 2 fucking weeks.
Yeah.
Because of the drama. She couldn't stay away from being dramatic, and now she's quarantined herself. She's also high risk.
That's crazy, man. Like I had to drive out to work to pick up something that I had forgot when I moved home, and there was a funeral. Coming back, there was a funeral procession. You know, the drive, and there was only 3 cars. You know, because nobody's going out because everything's shut down. Nobody wants to gather in groups. I was like, oh man, I feel. My
friend, she lost her dad.
Yeah.
To COVID, and she buried him yesterday, and the max allowed was 4 people at the burial site. He had 6 kids.
Damn, that's rough, man.
That sucks, man. There was actually a couple in Universal City that passed away, and his mom was living with them, and she had to find out through a window that her son passed away because she was positive. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's just crazy stuff right now.
And it's too close to home, man. Universal City's right down the street. I live in New Braunfels.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the other thing that was going to happen before all this was I was going to set up a mic here in New Braunfels.
Yeah, you talked to me about that and stuff.
Right. I was going to do a show either weekly or monthly. Me and Joshua Nieto were going to get together and put that together. I had bought the speaker and the mixer and I had the mic, and then all this went down, and I don't even know if the bar's going to be open when this is done. Yeah,
a lot of businesses going out. You know, even with like just the pickup orders, it's not enough to keep people afloat. You know,
it's scary.
I saw that thing with Jokesters, and that's sad too because she just celebrated 2 years of
and that's where that's my first stage. That's the first time I did an open mic.
Yeah, so
that's the home base.
It's gonna be different, man. When everything opens up, it's gonna be different. And I keep saying I don't know if I'll jump back into it and stuff. I mean, I'm kind of excited to get back out there, and that's why I started kicking out the podcast, because I was just doing a podcast with me and the wife, you know, and I was like, I want to get back into it, start talking to comics, get back into like running this thing. So when it does pop off, we'll just jump back into it like nothing happened.
Have you seen any specials?
I saw the Louis C.K. one. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that one. I want to see that one. I just saw the Chris D'Elia one.
I saw pieces of that one. I kind of fell asleep. I don't really care for Chris D'Elia.
Some of the jokes that he had, they went on for too long. And like now that we've hit the stage and we kind of start breaking it down, like, okay, this bit is going too long, man. You got to start shortening this shit up. Yeah, it's just like 3 minutes already.
He has those two voices that he uses for every character.
I don't like it.
And I'm just like,
I don't like it.
I heard this voice already because I remember I fell asleep because I put it on pretty late and stuff.
Yeah.
What's funny is that, like, okay, my wife, she'll go to a comedy show and stuff, and she'll watch some stand up, but she doesn't really care for it too much and stuff. But so I got the Comedy Central package because they had some deal.
Oh yeah.
And so now instead of waking up early to watch porn, I would wake up early to watch Comedy Central, like those little stand-ups.
That's your guilty pleasure?
Yeah, I got to do it before the wife wakes up.
Yeah, that's funny. I've been watching old school movies, like classic movies.
Yeah.
I started watching Jerry Lewis movies and how he works on his like physical comedy. And that's something that I need to work on, like the performance of the bit.
Is that what you want to do? You want to try to be more physical and stuff? Even with
like for me, like there's jokes that need to be like I walk the stage. I like to walk the stage, but and it's not a nervous thing for me. It's just me, like my mind telling the story.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like I don't know if I want to do physicality because I don't want to tire myself out up there.
Yeah, especially as your set grows, where time goes and all that stuff. 5 minutes, you could do a hard 5 minutes and stuff, but when you start doing 10, 20...
That's just no joke, man. I'm up to 15 right now.
Yeah.
And that you start losing your breath, your voice starts going out.
Yeah.
That shit is no joke, man. How long are you up to?
The most I've done is 20 minutes. I've done 30 minutes, but I wasn't happy with that one. Mm-hmm. So the most I was doing was 20 minutes. But like you hear people like new guys, and they're like, "Yeah, I've done like I got hours." I was like, shit.
No fucking way, no way.
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not taking it away from them. If some people have,
because I've seen people go up that feel like they got 15 minutes and they die after 4.
Yeah,
and then it's like, so anyway, and then you start hearing that and. I told my wife, if you hear so anyway, but yeah, man, if you hear those 2 words, it's over. He's losing it.
All right, what else did I want to talk about?
Yeah, I saw one comic go up, and the crowd. There was a guy in the crowd heckling. He was getting more laughs than the comic.
Damn.
And I'm like, dude, it's over. You gotta slow down.
Yeah, man. But I don't know, man. Like I just got the 20 minutes, I'm kind of mad at myself for not sticking with it. But at the same time, I can't put energy into something that I don't know when it's gonna come out. You know, like that was the whole rush of it. Like working on a joke for a couple of days, and then like, oh man, I'm gonna go out tomorrow night, and I'm just gonna fucking bang, bang, bang. So there's no motivation, and that's just for me. Like everybody works differently, obviously, but for me, like I would work on new stuff. And then I couldn't wait to put it on stage.
Right.
And then rework it and then do it again and then add tags and all that stuff. So because I know that there's no stage to work out stuff, it's the laziness and it's the whole thing. Like, I don't know if I'm going to do it again. I honestly, I couldn't tell you.
We were just having this conversation 2 days ago. My wife and I, we were saying, I was telling her, like, I don't even know where I fit in here anymore because everybody's doing this virtual thing. Do I ask to jump on this virtual thing and then not be ready because I don't even know how it works, and I don't even know if my jokes are even gonna fly virtually. You know what I mean? Because
even if they do, like even if somebody is laughing at what you're saying, you don't hear it,
right?
So it's not like, oh, there's that dopamine that I needed. You know?
Yeah. So like I saw the Isolation comedy from Austin. I think it's out of.
Yeah.
And I saw Tanvir do his set, and he did really well, and it was really funny, but he was getting emoji laughs. And that's how he could tell the joke was working. I'm like, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
I was laughing at him.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I know some people are releasing their stuff now. Like Jay White Cotton released his thing on YouTube.
Yep. I saw Larry's. Larry's was good.
Yeah, Larry's was good. George Anthony's about to drop.
I'm excited about that one because I've seen him crush crowds, man.
Yeah, he's a killer for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if Josh has one.
Kabaza?
Yeah. Does he have a?
Yeah,
video?
he put out one a couple years ago. That was already out and stuff. He recorded that at the Blind Tiger.
I gotta see that one.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Something like that.
The Blind Tiger is one that I would be nervous to go back to just because of how close everybody was. How close
everything is.
Right.
Yeah, man. That's the thing.
Because they're crammed down there.
Oh yeah. And that was a beauty of it, you know.
That was the magic of it, man.
It was an intimate setting. You could see people, they're right there. And then it's all like instant, like boom, boom, boom. You know, you give, they give, you give, they give.
It felt like a classic comedy club.
Yeah, it was a beautiful place.
Like ones you hear about in New York, you know?
Yeah.
Because then you go to Jokesters. Like when I started comedy, I had told myself I would drive by LOL. Like for 4 years, I was driving by LOL. And I would always tell myself that one day I'm going to go to that open mic. And one day I'm going to get on that stage. And when I started the open mic there, I never even wanted to see the back until I was booked on a show or something.
Yeah.
And I didn't go as a fan. I didn't go in the crowd, nothing, because my goal was to get on that stage. And the first night I ever went on the stage was the competition. Mm-hmm. And that bitch is huge. Like, the sound is weird. The acoustic is the stage is huge.
Yeah, it's an airplane hangar. Like it's fucking huge. It's ridiculous.
Then you go to the Blind Tiger and you see how intimate it is, and then that's a huge difference.
Yeah,
you can feel the laughter from the Blind Tiger because I could even feel it on the side. But at the LOL, man, it takes a second to hit you.
For sure, that affects your timing too. That affects your timing too. By the time it gets to. So.
Did anybody go over their time during your set?
Go over their time? No, I don't think so.
I had 2 or 3 people
that went over.
Yeah, they did like 9 minutes.
Oh shit! Isn't there like automatic disqualification?
Oh yes, yeah. Oh, the thing was, they let him go. They let him go. They hit him with the light like 3 times, and then they just let them go for the rest of their set. And they're like, "All right, man, that's my time." I'm like, nah, bro, your time was 3 minutes ago.
Damn,
you're done.
Nah, I don't think anybody ran their time and stuff. It was a pretty tight run show.
I missed that, man. Did you do any of the comedy festivals when they were in town? Did you check them out?
Nah, I wasn't part of the comedy fest, the Hot Comedy Fest. I think I was on a show when that happened when I was in town. And I didn't realize that they had a open mic during that Hot Comedy Fest.
Dude,
yeah, man,
I was so mad, man,
like,
because I was supposed to go that night. I was supposed to go out that night, and so with the wife and the family, I have to decide, am I going to do this night or am I going to pick this night? So I decided to go out the night of Jerry Garcia, because him and I have been talking on Instagram for almost a year.
Where was his show at?
At the LOL. Okay. And so, one of the proudest moments I had as a comedian was when I showed up. They were like, "Where's your ticket?" Irma came up and said, "He's a comedian. He doesn't pay." And they had me. I had paid already, but they were gonna sit me down somewhere, and I was like, "No, man, I'm gonna sit in the back." And Irma was like, "He's a comedian. He goes in the back." So I was able to hang out with the comedians from the comedy festival, and we were just chopping it up in the back. And I got to talk to Gina Brion. And Jerry Garcia was there, and we chopped it up. We talked, and then Big Al was there, and I got to talk to some of the local comedians. But Jerry said, "Hey, man, when you get a sec, I'm going to go smoke if you want to go talk to me." And then we had one-on-one time outside, and he didn't have to do that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we talked about timing and his jokes. How is he incorporating new jokes as a HBO comedian now? You don't do open mics, right? So what are you doing with these new jokes? Yeah. And so he was giving me advice on that and how he does it. It was cool, man. It was a good experience. Then he invited me back to the hotel, and they were doing another like impromptu open mic, but it was already like 2 a.m. I was like, man, I got to go home. Oh, damn. It was running that late, that open mic? Oh, wow. Yeah, they were going to go back to the St. Anthony. No, I'm lying. It was midnight. It was midnight. They were going to go back to the St. Anthony and then start from scratch, a new open mic. And I'm like, man, listen, the experience for it, I'm sure would have been fantastic, because Angela Johnson was hosting and all types of shit was going down over there. Damn. I'm sad I missed it, man. They didn't announce it, or not that I mean, no, just really show up, bro. That's crazy, dude. Well, man, it was good talking to you, dude. I know we haven't hung out in a while. Hopefully we'll hang out in real life soon when all these things. This is what I missed the most. Over. Yeah, man. That's another thing why I picked it back up. Just bullshit with other comics. You want to talk about comedy, life. I like just talking to comics about fucking bullshit. Yep. My daughter has now learned to open doors. I keep looking back because she's learned to open them, and she'll just bust it open. How old is your daughter now? She's 14 months. Yeah, because that's kind of when you lay. When I started, she was pregnant. Yeah, you chilled out like when your daughter was born. Right. So I had to. So it's been that long since we hung out, man. Yeah, it's been a long time. The scary thing was when she was born, she came out not breathing, and see, I was scared in the moment, but then the comedian brain came in because they said she came out white with blue eyes, and I'm like, yo, that's not mine. We got to talk about this. And then they said, this baby needs a CPAP. And I was like, fuck, that's my kid. And so I started writing that bit, but it was a serious moment, man. She was in the ICU for 3 or 4 days. Dang, man. And then we found out that she's allergic to eggs recently, too. To eggs? Yeah, man. She had eggs, and it blew up into anaphylactic shock. Oh my goodness, dude! They had to give her an EpiPen. That shit is scary, dude. She can't talk, man. So I don't know what she's eating. Because that's like your main job, is to make sure that these kids stay alive. And if you're poisoning your kids with eggs, shit. An egg is in everything. Everything. Cakes. Everything. Yep. So for her birthday, it had to be like a fruit cup. Oh man, they don't have like a substitute to make cake. I'm just worried about cake. How can we get cake? Nope, they don't have substitutes. I mean, some people put applesauce in it. Yeah, and that's disgusting. So
So are you staying live like on Facebook? Or are you joking out? Or joking around?
Yeah. So like
TikTok,
on Sundays I
that?
do. On Sundays I do. My son and I started a show called the Quarantine Chronicles.
Oh yeah. Y'all
and
go
we
live.
just talk. We just bullshit. Talk about our what did you do this week? Same shit we did last week.
That's cool, man. Y'all gonna keep that going? I'm
gonna try. We created logos and stuff, but it's hard to find the energy to do this type of shit. Like for you doing this, I commend you, man, because it's no joke trying to stay motivated to do this type of stuff. Dude,
I'm just getting back into it. I took 2 months off. I mean, I started doing a podcast with a wife.
But I mean, even before that, you were doing the open mics and then putting one of these out a week. That's a lot,
okay. I thought you just meant in quarantine time.
No, I mean it's a lot. It's a lot of energy.
Oh, for sure.
And now that we're in quarantine, the energy levels are already low because we're trying to save our energy from all this bullshit.
Yeah.
And trying to find the motivation, man. And then my son, I'll ask him questions like, "Would you rather?" questions. Would you rather be half mermaid or half horse? And then see where he goes with that.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. This is a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on. Any social media plugs, shout outs? You got anything you want to say?
Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I am Chris Grullon, Grullon, and then Facebook, Chris Grullon.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Cool, man. Thanks again for doing this. You can find me Twitter, Instagram, Patrick C. Huerta, and then BarbacoaCore.com for any links, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe, rate in the iTunes. Yeah, man. I'll catch up with you next time, man.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Laters.
Later. Thank you.